Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. It has been a little bit to Oceanink Series 11. We are running back one of our Week 3 matches that did get deferred a couple of, maybe a month ago at this rate. I'm Robo today. Joined with me is Mitsi. Mitsi, how you doing today?
Hello everyone, I'm doing amazing honestly. Finished off some assessments and I can't wait to commentate some Oceanink series.
Yes, indeed. These are two of our better the two teams, I would say. I think we're gonna have. It's also gonna be, I think, a very close game as well. These guys are pretty much neck and neck on standings at the moment.
They really are, and I'm just gonna load into here the players on the side of Kensaroos. We have Kate, Petey, T.N.T, Visible, and Roxy versus the Fickle Fishers, which is of course Layden, DASMII, EK Warrior, Octozen, Snail, and AJ.
Yes, indeed, a very tight roster versus a very deep roster. Let's see if they'll be able to make that work for them. Now, heading into game 1 here is Tower Control Manta, I believe.
Ooh, interesting. Tower Control Manta. Very weird map, I'd say. It's to a lot of people not very well explored, but to a lot of other people they have had a love-hate relationship with this map, and they've tried their best to explore it and understand what it's really about. I think this map, along with a few other maps we've seen in the past, have allowed for really free play amongst the people. Krobo, what do you think about this map?
Yeah, obviously, I think a classic, if not a staple, from back in Splatoon 2. So if people were around that, they'll have a lot of experience on this map. The grades in the middle are going to be, I think, probably the key point and going to be one of the first contention points, just because it is very easy to be able to get, say, a pen or a heavy edit up there and just secure your anchor and be able to slowly push forward with more advantage. And as soon as you get in, problem is problem is that once you start trying to push into choke and into street, it becomes very, very defender favored, and you pretty much want to get maybe a wipe just before you reach second check to absolutely secure that checkpoint.
100%, especially with that bunker and street being so important, as you were saying, on that choke point. I think the one thing that people really don't like about this map is how the mid is played. Like, as you said, the grates are a pretty important part to get your... I wonder how they'll really approach this Fickle Fishes and Kensaroos as we load into the first game.
Yes, let's see what weapons we are running today. Decav Pen RBT Tech. Carbon Zap Decav Dread. Interesting choices here.
Okay, so Fickle Fishes obviously going for a bit more of a aggro playstyle, whereas Kensaroos looking to push up with their paint a bit more. The cooler on the side of Fickle Fishes will have to really put down a lot of paint. Oh, and one goes down on the side of Kensaroos. Don't know where that came from. And Fickle Fishes might be able to secure this mid for free.
Yep. Here comes a slider to try and find someone. Does find the T-Tech climbing up the wall. EK is now going to be able to go in a little bit here. Not able to close out yet. It is currently just the decav up on the side for Kensaroos, and they go down now. Fickle Fishes have claimed in and already swarming into choke and into bunker.
See the Kensaroos now trying to set up their defense. They have strike to the ready, but the Dread Ring, I believe, is just poking at them relentlessly. The tower does get stopped at 63. That is such a tight choke point for the Fickle Fishes to move past. And the Kensaroos look like they're trying to get a good foothold here, but aren't really succeeding too well.
Yeah, the decav is down on the side of Fickle Fishes, but now that the team is cooled up, it does make it a bit harder for them to trade in favorably. Pen does go down now as well for Kensaroos, so Fickle Fishes are already back up on the front foot. We do see the T-Tech sharking there, and that suction is going to be a little bit of an annoyance here. Gonna have to force the flank all the way around. Unfortunately, the T-Cav finds him pretty much just in time. Flank dealt with, and now Fickle Fishes are going to be able to come in for a push. 2 down already for Kensa. 3, make it 3!
And this is what I love to see from Fickle Fishes. They are so well in tune with their players, especially the Zap as well, being such an aggressive painting option for them. It seems like Kensaroos is just getting outpaced right now. on the defensive side of things. They really just need to play for their pain, play for their specials, which I think they're trying to do right now with these strikes. Getting one down, and they're clumped up on the left side, two down on the side of Fickle Fishes, and Kensaroos will have some stability here.
Yeah, indeed. It's just pretty much the Carbon, I believe, up, or the Zap, maybe, for Fickle Fishes here. As they are going to have to quickly head back. We do see that AJ is flanking around, is going to be able to find the pen, which is an absolutely crucial pick. Will deny Cooler for a while. RB goes down as well. Flanker is finally dealt with, and now it's just T-Tech and Decaf take on the world. It is just Decaf take on the world. Never mind, nobody is here to take on the world. The world will win that fight, and Fickle Fishes will continue their push.
A lot of what we're seeing at this moment as well with Kensaroos is they don't have one solid idea. Fickle Fishes is really gunning it down on their side because they have the aggressive weapons, but Kensaroos doesn't really know what to do against them. And that's what's kind of keeping them in this defense. They had some really good opportunities to retake, but the tower's now being pushed into their spawn with almost 10 ticks remaining. Azuka does come out. Carbon. This is such an aggressive Zuka. 3 down on the side of Fickle Fishes, but this Carbon will keep ratting in their base and trying to find some more picks.
Does trade out with the RB, which is definitely a crazy value considering they were cooled up as well. So now Kensaroos are going to have to be probably a little bit faster and try and take back mid, as we already see Fickle Fishes are there, and they already have contested most of mid.
Yeah, the decab just jumping around on the grates there, trying to see if they can shark out anyway, and they will be able to get one, get the pen as well. 3 down on the side of Kensaroos, and it's looking like Fickle Fish is going to have another push opportunity.
Yeah, indeed. It really seems like Fickle Fish's comp here is really working for them. Their tech and their dread... sorry, other way around. Their Zap and the Dread are providing so much pain for the Decav and for the Carbon to just go in and just do their things that they want to do flawlessly, while Kensaroos feel like their comp is just sort of struggling a little bit to try and find a way in. Pen doesn't really work into their build as well as Zap does because of that pain, as they lose that frontline pain output. Now, they're going to go back again, and they want that check done, and they want that knockout.
Ooh, and they are trying to get this check broken, but no, they get it to 10. They're all two got down by the Dreadringer. Wow, what a shot. And they have reset at the ready if they need it. They are going to reset at the tower. Doesn't find anyone, but it secures them to push to go even further.
Yeah, indeed. AJ's already found another pick on the decav. Carbon's going to go back up onto Grace. Actually rolls across Grace to get there faster, which is pretty cool tech. But Fickle Fishes are going to take the first game here.
That was such a dominant game by the Fickle Fishes. I think, as you were saying before, Kensaroos did lose out on the comp side. I think Fickle Fishes, despite having the better comp, they did play that comp extremely well. The Carbon was playing for those sharking positions, the Decav was playing for those flanks, the Dreadringer was being super aggressive, and like the Zap, while being the anchor, was right behind their teammates, ready to support whenever they needed it.
Yes, indeed. Now, Kensaroos have a lovely question today, as we have a nice little counter pick pool here of Mahi zones and ROM-en zones, Inkblot, and that is not Sturgeon, that is Shipshape.
Mm-hmm.
Shipshape Tower. We got Rainmaker on Umami and on Undertow, and then for Clams we have Scorch Gorge and Barnacle and Dime.
These are some really tough picks, I feel. I'm not sure what maps Kensaroos would rather prefer. I think some of their strongest picks might be Shipshape Tower and Barnacle Clams because it's got the most free and open area. Umami you could also make a case for, but I think with Rainmaker... Oh, whoa. Robo ROM-en zones, hello.
Wicked pick on the west. Robo ROM-en zones. This is going to be very good for their pen, as they're going to be able to paint the entirety of the zone and contest it really easily. However, I don't think we're already in. What the hell? No time. Game 2. These teams know what they like.
They're just locking in these comps. Same comp as before. Now we have a Kraken. That actually might help with a bit of aggression. It won't help with the pain, but RB really doesn't help with pain anyway.
Kraken is an interesting one. The main weapon of Range Blast is already so powerful, and just locking that away for 7 seconds just feels like, why is there a flank going under those? There is a bit of pain down here. AJ, you're going to decide against the flank here, but it's still going to be able to pop up here. gonna try and fight around for a bit, see if they can find any picks. They don't find any value. Slider's gonna come out here, goes past the zone. Dread is gonna get in there. Panic strikes to try and get the Carbon, but now the Carbon's in their backline and is Zuckering the pen.
This Carbon has some of the most aggressive Zukas, does end up finding the pen surprisingly, and the decav killing the other decav in their bubble. Fickle Fishes is just setting up so beautifully right now. The front lines are just feeding so perfectly, like, together, to the point where they're more anchor weapons are just being allowed all this space.
Here comes the Kraken to push the opponent's team, to push Fickle Fishes back, and the Strike's going to be able to take the zone. It seems like the Zap did go down to the Kraken as well. However, Fickle Fishes have two members on the behind of Kensaroos, and the Slider is going to be able to cap the zone.
Wow.
However, it's not to any avail. The zone's pretty much immediately recapped, and they're now 2 down with no specials.
They might be 2 down with no specials, but the specials they will have are pretty quick to farm. But whoa, hold on. 2 go down on the side of Kensaroos, as I was saying that. Don't know how that happened. Kensaroos might be able to get a strong retake because they are pretty close to special. They have 3 specials almost at the ready, whereas Fickle Fishes really only has 1. The Zuka does get popped, does get punished for using Zuka up close. The Kraken also comes out, might be able to find some value, and the strikes are going to end up painting the zone, I believe. No, the zone doesn't cap, and Fickle Fishes are going to keep control.
That Carbon is still in there and will actually find 2, and the Dread's going to take... It's pretty much a full wipe on the side of Kensaroos here, and they're also pretty staggered as well, which means it's going to be pretty hard for them to come back into that joke now.
Oh, and this is some masterclass showing by Fickle Fishes. The way they're taking these positions, again, as I said before, is just amazing. It's really solid. They are getting another Zuka out, but this Carbon is just living and getting his Zukas. The strikes, again, coming out to no avail for Kensaroos. The paint is just too much on the side of Fickle Fishes.
Yeah, it seems like Fickle... Oh, nope. Slider's going to be here to keep the Kraken off the zone. And that is neutral by Kraken here. That's not over yet. They've got the tech strikes now. They really need to paint the zone. No, not in time!
What a game that we saw there. It felt like the same as Manta Maria. Kensaroos had the right idea, just the wrong execution, honestly. They had the specials up, they had the positional advantage. It felt like at the end it was just a bit of a choke, but Fickle Fishes played that extremely well again, so not much we can say about that.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that Kraken on zone be a little bit more aggressive in trying to force Fickle Fishes off the zone. I do understand that you kind of need the Kraken to paint the zone as it's the only one there, but you really need to be able to force people off the zone so that way you can safely get the strikes off, and that way you could have been able to potentially recap. But whatever. Let's actually go back to what the counter picks are, because we had like maybe 5 seconds to talk about them.
Yep.
So anyway, you said their best was probably like Clams Barnacle and what was the other one?
Shipshape Tower.
Shipshape Tower?
It feels like Shipshape Tower because they have a pencil, and like that pencil can just see the whole map, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I was going to suggest Clam Scorch, but the comp that Fickle Fishes is running, I don't think that's actually a great idea. Scorch really does favor a lot of sharking weapons, and Zuka on that map is also very, very good at just removing pesky backliners like the pen.
Well, not to discount strikes on that map as well. If we get like, I feel like strikes can deal with those sharking positions really easily, especially because of how tight some of those positions can be on Scorch. Ramp is also very tight, so pushing opportunities there can be shut down just by simply throwing bombs. As well with the flank, it's really easy to look at if you have a weapon that wants to do it, and I feel like the T-Tech can do that extremely easily. The pen can paint the ramp, and the decav can throw bombs if it wants to.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe one that they might want to go to... Like, I don't think they really want to go towards RMs as their comp is more balance-based, where Fickle Fishes are going for more aggressive comp, but potentially Undertow might be a good RM pick for them, just with the pen being able to just reach everywhere and just be pretty safe in general.
The Blaster also works on RM Undertow. It's got a lot of like ledges that aren't too high, but also aren't too low, so the Range Blaster can pick off people over the ledges even if they so wanted to. The decav also, like on the side of Fickle Fishes. Oh, whoa! Hello, chip-shaped cargo tower. But let's talk about this map now. RM Undertow is a dead dream.
Yeah, Shipshape Cargo Co. Mitsi, the Prophet here, is going to be able to quite easily pick it out. What do you think are going to be some of the points that Kensaroos is going to be looking for to try and set up this reverse?
So Kensaroos probably wants to be a bit more aggressive. I feel like they're playing a bit too safe right now. Whereas Fickle Fishers, because they know that they're playing too safe, Fickle Fishers can just rush in and kill the people or spite the people who are being a bit too safe. Kensaroos, if they up their aggression, especially with that range blaster, whoa, it is going to turn the tides for Kensaroos.
Well, let's see if they can make that adjustment. Let us jump into game 3 here, and maybe there might be some adjustments. This was like a minute longer than the last one. No changes on the side of Kensaroos. No changes on the side of Fickle Fish as they will run it back for a third time.
Shipshape cargo opening is going to be a bit stale unless some picks get made here. Oh, here we go. There's that aggression that I've been talking about. Attacking that left side and getting a pick in the opening. The range blaster gets two.
Oh, decav.
Unfortunately, doesn't get
here's the tech as well.
The T.N.T gets them, and it looks like Kensaroos has won this opening. Cooler does come out, but it's not really needed for this opening, and the T.N.T and Pen can just set up wherever they want.
Yeah, however, they do have 17 seconds of increased movement time, and if you accidentally go down to a bomb, you're going to come back straight away, and with strikes at this rate, you're going to be able to very easily just strike out and claim a lot of space.
Oh, and here's the Fickle Fish just coming back to that left side, trying to find some picks. They trade out, which is not the best, and the decaf finds the pick in middle. Kensaroos is looking to push this, maybe almost to knockout, trying to get to that second checkpoint now. If they break the second checkpoint, they basically can almost win the game from there.
T.N.T did have their strikes almost ready, which if they were able to get that just a little bit easier, they may have been able to remove the threats off of top right here. But already, Kensaroos go 3 down. Zuka's going to be able to finish that, and the very unnecessary slide. Oh my god, Zuka!
Oh my god. Who said Zuka got nerfed? That is still broken.
Still a great special. And there is no yellow anywhere near that tower. This is going to be a very, very easy checkpoint for Fickle Fishes to take, as all the fighting is happening on plat, as the decaf finds 2.
It is stacking up by Fickle Fishes on that left side for them. But the Kensaroos hasn't really taken this opportunity yet. I wonder if they will start going in just a second, because we saw that aggression earlier and it worked out for them. If we see that aggression again, they will be able to just get another push going. The decaf's going to try start that. Does come off to help with the where the strikes are. And Kensaroos looks like they're trying to just consolidate in middle.
I mean, yeah, they are currently in the lead, and 2 minutes have already elapsed, and they have that's a comfortable lead, I would say. It's pretty much already at second check. So all they just need to do is pretty much just keep holding mid-cycle cooler and just be able to push out. Especially since Fickle Fishes, I think, are being just a bit too over-aggressive at the moment, especially with Pen being able to set up in a very, very big position here. I think they're just going down a little bit too fast, as they're already 2 down again.
Yeah, I think Fickle Fishes wasn't ready for this adjustment that Kensaroos made. Again, that adjustment is the world. As soon as you start speeding up the pace and the opponents aren't ready for it, that's when the whole thing comes apart. Oh, but the Carbon does get the 4th person for that full wipe, and they're going to be able to set up again.
Yeah, and you really don't want the T-Tech to be pushing out solo here. I do like what they're doing. They're just being able to just paint a mid a little bit, try and build their special up, because this Zuka is going to come out and be very aggressive. Does find the pen over that pillow, and now they're already going to be moving towards that right-hand side to try and secure a check.
Yeah, oh wow, 3v1 against the Blaster is crazy there.
Blaster is probably one of the bigger threats to the tower at the moment, but Visible is already set up. Strike's going to come out for the turrets. They have lost the lead, but the Zuka does go down. There goes Carbon as well. It is T-Tech versus Dread in the last, and T-Tech knows where the Dread is, and they're going to have jumps coming in already. Arby's going to be able to punt it to apply a lot of pressure here, going 50 on quite a lot of people. Decav is already flanking around, does go down very early, finding no value. Tech goes down because the Carbon did hit the follow-up. Carbon's dead now. But Kensaroos have a very good chance to start a very good push.
I will say this game has been so back and forth with trades.
Oh,
wow.
Great bait to the slider.
That was an amazing bait of the slider, but yeah, it's been a lot of trades this match. It's been a lot of back and forth. Some will get a triple, then the other team will get a triple. So this game, honestly, it could win like this game could be won just by that 1 point that Fickle Fishes got, but not to count out Kensaroos, they can also get that 1 point back.
Yeah, you saw their first push was super dominant. They need to do that again. Kensaroos Decaf is going to trade out with the Zap here. However, they already popped Kowa. Full wipeout on the side of Kensaroos is going to make their comeback extremely hard now.
Was that a full wipe by the Carbon as well?
Potentially.
Did they? Maybe they did get all 4. But Kensaroos, they're in a bit of a shambly position right now. We were just speaking about how Fickle Fishes wasn't ready for the speed adjustment. Well, Fickle Fishes adjusted to the speed. And now they're back in full force.
Oh my god, Decaf behind is going to find that pick on the range blaster. 10 seconds left now to try and get something going here. Visible is going to find a pick here. They need to touch tower. They're on tower. They got to watch the sharking Zap though. Zuka does find a pick. They need to touch tower. Pen is on the tower, but it's getting swarmed. RB is not going to be able to get there in time to apply. And that is going to be game 3 to the Fickle Fishes.
And we're already at game point. This game was really close, alright? 70 to 71 points is crazy for this map. Like, a lot of teams do get strong pushes. Whenever you get a push on this map, it normally does collapse pretty fast. But not like what we saw here. We saw Kensaroos and Fickle Fishes defending at the perfect spot at the same time almost. It was just that 1 point difference that really made the game.
Yeah, and that aggression, as you said earlier, worked really well for them. They were able to just get a really strong push going straight off the start, and they were able to really maintain that aggression throughout. It's just that once they were starting to stagger a little bit, I do think they were starting to lose the plot just a touch, and were not able to coordinate as well as they needed to fully stop the push.
Yeah, they were losing a bit of that coordination, a little bit of that teamwork and chemistry that they had in the opening. With how they played in that match, I'm not surprised now if they pick Climb Scorch or Claims Barnacle. That was a good show of coordination at the start. If they keep that up during the game, they can easily win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Reverse sweep is definitely a possibility here, especially since Fickle Fishes, I think, would be... Oh, there's Barnacle, as you said. You're just on
There
fire.
it is.
Yeah, Fickle Fishes were just being a bit too over-aggressive there. They were diving into a lot of 1v2s and just being okay with a trade-out, which is something I don't typically want to recommend. Especially because diving headfirst into a 1v2 can be extremely risky.
It's also just risky for your team. If you go down and you trade out with the wrong person, you can actually lose value by trading out, and your team can get pushed back on, which is the scary part, as you said, about pushing up by yourself. It has worked for them, though, and I think that's what they're holding on to. We've seen so many quads and triples this match, which is crazy because they've only played 3 games. We saw triples on the side of Kensaroos, we saw a few triples on the side of Fickle Fishes. It's just high action between all these games.
Yeah, absolutely. High action, I think, is probably the perfect word to describe that. It's just lots of high intensity, lots of trading back and forth. That's kind of what Cooler wants to enable anyways. So it's kind of playing into both teams' favor here. But let us go on to match point here for the Fickle Fishes. Are there going to be any changes, or will they run it back for a 4th time? That is an S-Blast. That is a little bit different. And that's the only change.
I'm a big fan of this S-Blast, honestly. S-Blast Decav can really just combo off each other really well. I think Range Blaster might be a bit too slow for the Decav at times, but the S-Blast might fix that issue. This opening is going to be extremely stale, though. I feel on Barnacle and Dime.
The other thing to mention about S-Blast is that it has a Booyah Bomb, which is another form of area denial in addition to the strikes. Carbon, lovely sharking. It's going to find one there, and it's kind of just stuck in Alia now. 2 down on the side of Kensaroos. The aggression didn't really work too well for them on this map. The S-Blast is just getting pressure from all sorts of points. Decaf goes down. Zuka is not going to find anybody this time. But Fickle Fishes are already on Plat, and now they're already pressuring Snipe as well.
With 15 claims as well, they can set up to make a really good push here. They found the shark in the T-Tech. Those comms must have been so rampant for them to try score as fast as possible by removing that guy. And Fickle Fishes, wow, already down to 44. They're looking to maybe back up here, honestly. Yeah, they are 3 down. And they will try to just regain control of this middle.
Yeah, I do like these suction bombs from the Zap here. You're not fully committing yourself to pushing out, and you're giving your team a lot of safe jumps as well, which is exactly what you want to do here. It's now a quick 2v2 here. Would like to see Kensaroos trying to just poke mid a little bit more. Just sending the S-Blast alone is quite risky. But now the entire team's here, and the pen is going to be able to start setting up. But you got to watch out for that Carbon, who's not been seen apparently. Here comes the Slider as well. Is going to find one. Dread does go down for their Slider crimes. Here comes that Booyah Bomb. Is going to be able to push that decav away. Carbon out of nowhere is going to find two, which is huge. And now Ficklefish is going to have another push ready to go soon.
Oh, and the Carbon getting a bit overzealous there with that ball. Didn't realize that they were being marked the whole time, or maybe they just had the ball at the ready on accident. But Ficklefish is already Slider ready there, and is trying to just maintain control of this. It looks like they will be able to maintain control of it with trades, though, and yeah, Kensaroos might be able to get a solid retake here.
If they take down this Carbon, which they do, they kind of need to go into mid pretty quickly. Just allowing the Zap to have easy control of mid is slightly concerning. You really want to make sure that they are not here, especially with so many flanking weapons as well. Oh no. Especially with so many flanking weapons as well, that you really just don't want them flanking and just taking out like two members for no reason. You really just want to make sure that you have tabs on all members on Ficklefishes at all times.
Ooh, and this is what we saw in that Shipshape game. Solid opening, but then comes crashing down as we see the staggering start happening one by one. They are feeding through. The Dread has found three players on Kensaroos.
And now
disregarding.
The finally revealed himself. The Carbon, I think, was shocking it for like maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah,
and
well,
get the triple out of it, so very worth.
EK had everyone's attention on that plat, so the Carbon really could just sit here and just look pretty. Ooh. Unfortunate that they go down on the push. Those strikes are really well timed as well to get their plat back. And if they can just push up into mid here, Kensaroos will be able to just start something.
Yeah, they currently do have all three members in mid. Unfortunately, the S-Blast does go down there. T.N.T goes down very early as well. There goes Decav. It is now just Pen, who is quickly retreating off to snipe. This Kowa is thrown very well, but everyone's kind of on the wrong side here. Only one person going to be able to grab that. Slider is going to find the Pen. Of course, pays the Slider contract, does eventually trade out here. It's now just the Zap once again. We're going to quickly see them retreat back into mid. They have another cooler ready to go for respawns, which is absolutely huge. Makes defense a lot easier. Ficklefish is already down to 22 now with a minute left to go.
I've been liking Ficklefish's game plan this whole time. They haven't made the cooler players score all that much. They've just allowed them to have that freedom of being in and out of the play whenever they please. It means that they also get a lot more coolers, which is always a plus for your team. If you get more coolers, you can essentially just int more for free without having too much of penalty. And 3 again, 4 go down on the side of Kensaroos. It's just a slaughterhouse, right? Like in this match, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, because of all the flanks in this map, if you check 2 of them, you think you've already found them, and they're always hiding in that third flank option. Decav going down here as well for Kensaroos is not good. Here comes the Zuka. Gonna be able to find that Pen. 2 down now for Kensaroos. They do have a pity, so they will enforce overtime. Here comes the bubble as well. Strike's gonna be able to come in and quickly shred that. Once again, 2 down for Ficklefishers. Carbon is gonna keep finding all the picks and try and make sure that they do not get anything going. We've got about 15 seconds left of overtime. T.N.T pretty much needs to go all the way to the basket. They get a pick. They kind of need to go now. They get 2. They need to go now. Hurry, go!
And the time is going to expire. An amazing push by T.N.T at the end there, but unfortunately they could not. They could not convert.
Oh, it was just maybe a second too slow there. Really unfortunate. That is going to be game, set, and match 2 Ficklefishers for a 4-0 clean sweep.
And you know what? This is actually something that's been on my mind because I commentated the seeding tournament. I think Kensaroos won over Ficklefishers in the seeding tournament. I believe it was 2-1. So it's nice to see Ficklefishers just getting, like, showing that they've improved over these past weeks and absolutely dominating the competition who they once lost to.
Yeah, just show it's just testament to show how much that they've grown so far and that they're able to initially lose to them in the seeding tournament and then come all the way back a couple months later and be able to take a clean 4-0 sweep.
Especially with this much coordination. Like, this is honestly, their coordination today has been insane. Like, I believe only recently they put Snail on Zap. Snail was on, I believe, Junior before. But putting Snail on Zap has taught them how to play a bit more balanced, a bit more for the team instead of for the player.
Yeah, indeed. I think that is truly a test. Yeah, that definitely shows how much that they're grown and willing to adapt to the current climate of the meta. However, that is going to be it for tonight's stream. I believe this is going to be the only stream that is happening this week, as we were not able to find anyone else to cover the rest of the matches that are happening today. There is still one catch-up week left in Oceanink for next week, so we'll hopefully cover as many matches as we possibly can. So please stay tuned and watch those. And of course, if you did see any cool moments that you think should be shared with everyone else, be sure to clip them and send them over to the Tide clip submission chat so they can be submitted on the shown on the Tide.
Yeah, stay tuned as well for the Tide when that comes out. Last week's Tide was pretty hype, so this week should be pretty hype as well with the catch-up matches that we do hopefully want to stream.
Yes. Hope we can get some good communications in. But that is going to be it for us. As always, thank you to Mitsi for commentating with me, and thank you to Bev, who is the man behind the camera today. We always do appreciate everyone's work, and of course to all the Oceanink moderators and admins as well.
See ya.
Bye bye.